I'm Karen Cartwright, and I'm a coach. I'm a Clarity Catalyst facilitator, and I've just joined Vesta as a concierge specialist, but back in December. So just super happy to be back here tonight. And I apologize for my voice, and Mandy's going to do a really good job, and I'm going to chime in when I can.
Mm-hmm. And then another member of our team is Jennifer Grace, and Jennifer is the lead train the trainer for the Clarity Catalyst program. And what that means is that she trains people like Karen and I to then be able to go out and spread the good word to folks. And typically, the Clarity Catalyst course is taught just for people that are looking to kind of get unstuck in their lives. And Karen and I realized when we met, I guess 3 years ago, is it 3 years? 3 years ago, like what an amazing program this would be to share with folks that are navigating the divorce process. I guess rewinding back a little bit in shortly after the 9/11 tragedy, the Clarity Catalyst course was taken out of Stanford University, which is where it originates from. The creator of the program wanted to offer his students something that focused more on emotional intelligence and helping people really kind of like operate from their heart. And then it quickly became one of the most widely attended courses at Stanford University. And after the 9/11 tragedy, it was taken outside of Stanford for the first time, and it was offered to widowers after, like, to help them, like, as they navigated this, this tragedy and managing the loss of their loved ones. And basically from there, it has been taught all over the country and across the globe as well. So tonight's class is the tools are pulled from this 8-week course. And yeah, because it focuses on how to get you unstuck and get you on the other side of overwhelm.
Yes.
Did I
So
leave anything out from our history?
no, I think that sounded really good. And it's true. There's just so many wonderful tools with and learning how to start being more mindful and meditating. And we're going to talk about some of these tools tonight
Yeah.
after we get through a couple of these little slides.
Honey, drink your tea, drink your tea. I meant honey, not like you're my honey, but like have honey. Okay, you got that. That's good. All right. So what are like some of the true feeling of overwhelm? It's, I mean, obviously, right? When you're going through something like divorce, it is like going to cause this natural state of feeling overwhelmed because you have such incredibly intense emotions. There's stress that can feel like all consuming. And there's all these like different factors that sometimes you feel like you don't have control over. So the first piece of the overwhelm is like this emotional turmoil. And divorce, like it signifies the end of a significant relationship, which can trigger obviously some deep emotions like fear, anger, grief, uncertainty. And all of these feelings can be super overwhelming. And it's difficult to process it and try to adjust and figure out what this new phase of your life is going to look like. And then there's the practical challenges that divorce brings. There's the considerations of like the legal proceedings, making the decision. Am I going to mediate? Am I going to do litigation? Financial settlements. And if there's kids, what does it look like for custody? Like, how is it going to affect the kids? And then it's like just the reorganizing of your daily life. I mean, I remember it was like, who's doing pickup? And I actually, it's kind of a funny story in hindsight, but I was on the phone with my ex-husband and we were talking about like the logistics of everything. And then all of a sudden he was like, are you getting Michael or am I getting Michael? And it was like, oh, it's like we were just trying to, map out our life on paper, yet like we weren't, doing what we needed to be doing. And luckily, I was close enough and I could get to the daycare and everything was fine. But, just kind of like reorganizing your life. And then there's the identity like reevaluation as you go through divorce. Like, who am I without my partner? Or what does my future look like? And, so often I have conversations with stay-at-home parents and they may need to go back to work. And how are their skills as a stay-at-home parent? How does that translate into the work world? And trying to like rebuild that. And then there's like the social and the family dynamics. It's like and I think that I don't think that things are at like as much of a stigma anymore about divorce, but it's still, I mean, I remember it. I remember feeling that. And it's like, going to a game by myself, instead of going to a game with my partner, or, having to attend an event as like a single, versus like a married couple. Um, and then having to like rebuild friendships and create a new community. There's, and maybe it's like, how do you deal with it in your family structure, your in-laws or the really, long-term marriages. You guys, are the connection between both families. Um, and then there's the financial stress of it, like the dividing of assets, the loss of an income, going from a two income, household perhaps to a one income house. Um, and then of course there's like just that feeling of like feeling out of control. And, like you decide what process you're going to go through, but you don't know how long it's going to take. And, you sign this document, it gets turned over. Like, when are you going to be getting your court appointment? I mean, it is so much. How can you not feel overwhelmed? And how can you not feel like you don't have some sort of like, moment where you're like, ah, but, luckily there's a lot of support out there. And obviously, if you're here, you're within our network, and hopefully you've attended some of our seminars and you've met some of our amazing professionals. There's coaches and therapists and, classes like this. But the good news is that, once you get to the other side of it, the side of like what life looks like next. Cue up next slide.
Yeah, well, and it's true. I wish I had even one of these tools to get through some of those days that were just so completely just stuck in overwhelm. Like, what do I do next? And so we're both here to tell you there is light at the end of the tunnel. And
Mm,
fast forward to now, I've got my two grown sons that managed to turn out okay, regardless of a pretty traumatic divorce at the time when they were
mm,
12 and 13. And of course, Mandy blended a family and doing
mhm. Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I remember feeling all of those feels, feeling like what, and I remember my feeling so sad, like especially this time of year, like with Easter and like just feeling, just like that, what is it going to look like? And um but like just creating those new traditions and and now like I get to be happily remarried and I have a great relationship with my ex-husband, and I think that we do a really good job co-parenting. And he hasn't done any of the work. I've done the work, but I show up differently and it makes him behave differently as well. So
So what is that?
we've recapped all the suck that goes along with
Yeah, let's
this.
talk about what should we do
Let's
about
talk
it.
about what the antidote for this is, right? It's like, all right, Mandy, you don't need to tell me what like I've already lived here. Um, so the good news is the antidote to overwhelm is mindfulness. And I know that mindfulness is one of those words that gets thrown around, a lot, and it's like, what is it? What is it? And we've broken it down into tools that you're going to be able to use in a practical way. And but also we've broken it down with like it looking in five different in categories to kind of like counteract all the overwhelm, hence the antidote. So the first thing is that like mi mindfulness like as a word is really just the practice of being fully present and engaged in the moment that we're in. So right now, as a class, like being mindful is being fully engaged in this presentation, whether it be like listening to us, taking notes, raising your hand if you have questions or you want to, interject. And and it's trying to do these things without trying to have like these like intense feelings or not having like judgment on them. So some of the benefits of mindfulness in terms of dealing with like emotional turmoil like divorce is that when you are centered in the present moment, like when you're practicing mindfulness, it brings you back to the present moment, which can really help with the reduction of stress and worry. Because if you're in the present moment, you're not thinking about the future or you're not regretting the past. And that usually is where overwhelm happens, or that fear and anxiety is that we're worrying about the future or we're regretting the past. But if we're in the present moment, then it's gonna mitigate that. Um, and you're not thinking of the what ifs or should haves. And by regulating your emotions, is another way that mindfulness like helps. It can help you become more of an observer of your emotions without getting lost in them. Like, oh, I'm feeling really angry right now, or I'm feeling sad right now, and really kind of like diving into like what does that mean and why am I feeling that way? Um, and it can really help us like take those really intense feelings down from like maybe what feels like an 8 or a 9 to, or a 2 or a 3.
Mm.
We're not selling zero because as we jokingly say, that would be a bottle of Chardonnay and a Xanax, and that's not what we're offering today. So if we can just like kind of dial the temperature down, that's really where we want to get us. Um, Improving, like working on mindfulness also helps with your concentration and your clarity. So that, one of the reasons why Vesta was set up was because we knew that if we helped to educate people and we gave them the tools to understand the process, that they would be able to make educated decisions, from a place of clarity. And in order to get to clarity, you have to be able to like, weed through the emotions as well, which is why we have coaches and therapists on our team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And when you're able to improve your concentration and clarity, it also helps you like make decisions, right? Because we have a lot of decisions to make when we're navigating divorce. You have to make decisions with your finances, with your legal team, and when you're able to be clear and you're able to concentrate, you can do what's going to be in your best interest.
Yeah.
Um, and then regular mindfulness also helps to build resilience, and it helps us to equip like for when like that like surprise situation happened that you weren't anticipating. If you're regularly practicing mindfulness, you're gonna be able to, okay, I can accept what's going on right now. It wasn't what the plan was, but I can adjust myself. I can modulate my reaction to the situation. And then the last like kind of like spoke in the wheel is the connection with the body and how movement really can help us with our mindfulness as well. Whether it be that you're having you're sitting down to have dinner and you're really just paying attention to what you're eating and the smell of the food and the flavors and the or if you're cooking, the sensation of cutting or peeling, washing the potatoes, whatever it may be. So it's like that connection with your body and to the mindfulness. So just like quick recap. So again, those were the being centered in the present moment, regulating emotions, concentration and clarity, building resilience, and connecting to the body. So those are kind of like the 5 spokes in the mindfulness wheel. And then from there, we're going to get into tools that all kind of connect back to these like various spokes. So hopefully that makes sense. And if anyone has any questions, that would be a good time. You can ask them, or we can keep rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling. Okay. All right. So, because there are no drugs that will make you immune to stress or pain or that will magically solve your problems, it will take a conscious effort on your part to move in the direction of healing and peace. This means learning to work with the very stress and pain that is causing you to suffer. So this quote was written by, he's known as being the godfather, if you will, of mindfulness, because it's true. Like, as I was saying before, that would be a bottle of Chardonnay and a Xanax. I mean, you have to be able to walk through the pain and the stress to get to the other side. You have to feel the feelings. And, there are 2 types of people, right? There's the one that is willing to go through the dark night of the soul to get to the other side and come out, transformed. Or there's the person that is like hells to the no and like, runs and doesn't want to deal with, what's going on. And, and those kinds, the people that don't want to deal with are the ones that, a divorce compounded with the death of someone, compounded with, it just, you got to just like take life head on. And hopefully these tools that we're about to dive into will help you.
Yeah, let's get to these tools. We got 10 of them for you. And again, I'm so sorry, Mandy, that you're taking this all on, but
No, that's
it
okay.
sounded really
Hopefully
great.
no one
Yeah.
is annoyed with my voice yet.
Yeah.
Um, all right, 10 tools. Let's get into it. All right, so first one is curiosity. And I just love this image. What is more like, why is the sky blue? Why is it this way? Why is it that way? Having a childlike curiosity to be able to really dive into what is going on. And the difference between curiosity is naive and sweet in a way, whereas like the opposite of it would be judgment and being critical. And we really want to stay away from those like negative and harsh, the judgment and the critical piece. We want to look at something from the lens of a child and many times like what we're feeling or how we're navigating a situation comes from a childhood wound even. And it's being able to like question and asking, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? And ask the powerful questions and keep asking the questions until you get down to what's really going on. Because a lot of times it's not as obvious as you may think that it is. It really is. Maybe it's a fear of, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to. I mean, I remember one of my biggest fears when I was going through my divorce was like, I had no idea what to do with a car, like the oil change, the tire rotations, the service maintenance. And I realized that, like, it was something like, once I like asked the questions, it was something that I was able to like rationally, like, okay, well, you can go to a mechanic, you can, follow the maintenance program in a book. Like, I was able to kind of like talk myself, to the other side of it. So our first tool is to just get curious and ask questions from a place of like compassion, not from a critical lens. All right, anchoring. So anchoring kind of goes into the idea of like getting back into your body and getting back into that like present moment. And one of the things that I think is really powerful with anchoring is doing what we call a five senses check-in. And there's lots of different ways that we can do it. And again, it's to get you connected to your body and then to get you back into the present moment. So we're going to just do a little experiential exercise now. And this the 8-week course that we teach, we provide a lot of different experiential exercises as a way to obviously for you to experience and realize that, like, oh wow, this really does work. All right, so we are going to do what we call the five senses check-in, because we know that when you are focused on the present moment, you're not worrying about the past. Nope, you're not worrying about the future or regretting the past. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I would like you to keep your eyes open, and I want you to think about all of the things in the room that are red. And I want you to just look around the room and notice everything that's red. And maybe what are the textures of these red items? Maybe you're seeing something for the first time. Now I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to deeply breathe in, noticing the sense of smell. Do you have something cooking on the stove that you can smell in the room that you're in? I can smell my dog's bad breath. It's a real thing. With your eyes still closed, invoke the sense of sound. Are there any sounds inside the room aside from my voice? What about in the room next to you? Can you hear anything outside? Now let's invoke the sense of taste. Gently run your tongue along your teeth and swallow. And finally, touch. How does the air feel on your face? What about the clothes on your body? Are your clothes soft or are they itchy and scratchy? And what about the breath? Is the air that you're inhaling, is it cool? And is it warm on the exhale? Now open your eyes. Was anybody worrying about the past? No.
Such a good exercise that you could
Mm,
really do anywhere at any time.
yeah.
Takes a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
Yeah. And there's so many different variations of it as well.
Mhm.
But, something as simple as that really does kind of help you get anchored into your body and into the present moment. Um, yeah, awesome.
Right.
All right. Number 3, meditation. Now, I don't know if anyone here has a regular meditation practice. Um, I don't know if Kathleen is still here or not, but yes, she is. I know that she does. Hello. But does anyone else have a you can raise your hand. Yep, great, awesome. How often do you meditate, Suzanne? Susan, I mean. Oh, can we unmute her? Let me do that.
I meditate every day.
Wow, that's awesome.
I try.
And what do you do guided meditations? Do you
I
do
I do. I use Insight Timer. It's an app I downloaded on my phone.
Yep, that's my favorite.
Yeah, so I use that and I love it.
Awesome.
Yep, I do it actually twice a day. I do it in the morning when I wake up, and then again before I go to bed at night.
Wow.
So
Fantastic. I saw Deb gave us a thumbs up, so I'm going to assume that either yay for you or she as well is a does meditation. Anyone else have a regular practice?
Hmm. This is Janice. Yes, I meditate daily as well.
That's wonderful. And just out of curiosity, like when you started meditation versus before you did, I mean, would you say how long would you say it took you before you noticed a difference?
Well, I've been meditating for 15 years. So it's kind of just like it's a very important part of my life right now.
Yeah, that's
It's
wonderful.
hard to remember what it was like before.
Mm, yeah,
It's very impactful.
yeah, yeah. I notice if I skip a I have my own little like routines. I kind of combine my like prayer meditation in the morning. I have my little routine and then I have my gratitude and meditation at night. And I'll tell you, I notice a big difference when I miss it, because life happens, right? Life gets lifey, and sometimes we fall out of practice, and it's amazing how our our routines really are important in terms of like how we're able to show up in community with others. So for those that don't have a meditation practice, I really just welcome you to add that to your toolbox for mindfulness and also just for overall well-being. And as Susan, I think it was Susan was saying, Insight Timer. That's also one of what I use in addition to there's just so many great ones out there. There's Headspace, there's a bunch of apps and you can get like free versions of it and you can listen to guided meditation. I enjoy listening to like soundscapes when I'm going to sleep. It helps me kind of drift off. There's music. I also play the sound bowls, so it's nice to listen to those as well. And in addition to helping manage overwhelm, it also helps with so many of our with your mind, and it's been shown to reduce with dementia and Alzheimer's, as well as help with, just like stress and anxiety, and all the health conditions that will come along with that. So, and we offer lots of great meditations as well during our 8-week course. Body awareness. So how many of us like can feel when we have like, that overwhelm or that like our anxiety, like where does it, where does it usually land in your body? For me, it's always in my neck, like, or my like lower back. Yeah, right there. Right. That's good. That feels good to be able to work out those knots. And I
Yeah, I
just
always get it in my stomach.
in your stomach.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
knotted up and can't eat or anything. So
Yeah, yeah. But when we're able to, find where that tension or where that overwhelm is sitting in our body, we're able to, we can breathe into that space, and we can, bring attention and love really to that part of our body that is like holding on to this stress, that is just, it's not serving us. So I'd love to do another breathing exercise if that's okay. And I'd love to invite you to close your eyes. And let's place our right hand over our heart chakra. And perhaps we can put our left hand on our belly, or maybe where our sacral or solar plexus are. And let's take in a nice deep breath. And as our body fills with the nourishing air, we ask our body, where is it that needs love and healing? What part of my body is feeling stress and anxiety? And as we continue to breathe, we ask that love and light and healing be brought to that part of the body. And as we exhale, we're releasing that worry, that fear, and that anxiety, knowing that it's been replaced by love, acceptance, and understanding, knowing that we're doing the best that we can, and that is okay. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes, and you can remove your hand from your heart, in your solar plexus and come back to this moment. And did anybody have any sensations or feeling of release in doing that exercise? I think that any time that we can bring awareness and healing to our body, we're making a step in the right direction. And knowing that we can release that fear and anxiety into bring it, as like the plants take our negative energy or the grounding, bring the warmer weather is coming here in New England eventually. All right. So our next tool is going to be journaling. And it's not journaling like Dear Diary. Just I think it's important to some of us may have like a regular journaling practice where we're tracking how we're doing, how we're feeling. And some of us need journal prompts. I'm personally somebody that needs journal prompts. And because otherwise, I mean, I do enjoy the do you have the journal prompt?
Yeah, I have it. I just like how you say sometimes a brain dump. Sometimes if you don't have a prompt, you just sit down and just start writing. That's really
Yeah.
good too. But we do have the prompt right here.
Okay. So we're gonna take we're just gonna take a minute or two to write about this. So so hopefully people have like pen or paper. I'm assuming most of us are at a desk, or actually, our iPhones or our phones usually have like a way to like journal. So even though I can't change my situation today, if I do this one tiny thing, I will be moving in the right direction. So if you were to take this one action today, it would help you move in the right direction. So we'll put 2 minutes on the clock. Right, so maybe like 30 more seconds. And as you're wrapping up, yeah, what Karen was saying before about the brain dump, that can be a really good use of, whether it be a journal or it be like just kind of a way to like manage the overwhelm. Because typically we feel overwhelmed because we have a laundry list of things to do. So if we're able to just kind of like dump it all out on the table, if you will, and sort it out, then it makes it less scary. Actually, I think we'll talk about that during one of the other tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if anyone, I would love, did anyone want to share what might be one tiny thing that they could do today? Would love to hear your thoughts. You could raise your hand, you could put it in the chat. And if not, then we can kind of just keep moving. Alrighty.
Right. Let's go on to number 6.
Oh, this is my favorite. Be of service. This was something that was taught to me when gosh, I don't even, okay, I got something in the chat.
Yeah, I just saw
Yeah, oh, thinking of you.
survive tonight. Yep.
Yeah. And you know what? Coming to this course tonight, this class tonight is probably the best gift that you could give yourself. Even if you walk away with just one thing that maybe you can try to incorporate tomorrow, maybe it's that 5 senses check-in or, doing a little meditation or something before that. And, yeah. So tool number 6, be of service. It was told to me when I was going through my own divorce, not connected to Clarity Catalyst, but this is just such a good tool, that to find somebody that was hurting more than I was and to be of service to them. And that basically just meant like, I ended up checking in with somebody who I knew was dealing with somebody was very, very sick, and I just wanted to see how they were doing. And it was amazing how being able to put my attention and my focus on them and their well-being, how it really took me outside of myself. It took me away from my problems, and even if it was just for that short time. And they had so much gratitude that I checked in and I took the time to reach out to them.
Yeah.
It's really it was really special. And then one of the things that because I was po when I first went through my divorce, and I made a decision that my son and I were going to volunteer at a homeless shelter, because I knew that even though I felt like we didn't have a lot, we had more than so many. And we did that a handful of times. We went into Boston and we served at a soup kitchen there. And it's something that we still like reflect on today as something that we did together. And it really just it filled my heart, and it filled me with so much gratitude for our life, and it just put things in perspective.
Yeah. And including the kids, your son. I did the same thing with my sons. We did an equine therapy where you put kids on horses that had emotional or intellectual disabilities, whatever it is. And just that, looking forward to that every week, and then having that time to just share and be around people that needed us. It's a really good way to get you out of your own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's lots of opportunities to do it within your community or synagogues or churches or, whatever, wherever, schools.
Oh, here's coming up with your favorite one.
Oh, yes. So worried time. I think that there's this, and this is actually like a whole module within our 8-week class. And the worry time is just like throughout the day, and this happens in actually so often. Oh, Habitat for Humanity, yes,
Oh, I love that.
wonderful. And I'm sure
Thank
that
you.
that is like such great memories. Yeah. Um, where there like periodically through the day, and I know like a lot of times in the morning I'll wake up like like I have to do blah 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 blah. And so periodically through the day we'll get inundated with like all these things that we have to do. And one of the things that we can just say to ourselves is like, what, I'm not going to worry about this right now. I'm going to worry about this during worry time. And this is literally something that we do for a week within our course, where everybody sets a timer. And it can be after work, it could be, whatever it is that you want to have your worry time be. For me, it was like before, it was after work, kind of like in between like work and dinner hour. And typically, 9 times out of 10, when the worry timer actually goes off on your phone, you laugh because you don't remember what you were worrying about at 7 o'clock in the morning. Um, and this is actually my favorite time to do what Karen was saying before, is the brain dump, where, you just make that big laundry list of things that you have to do. I'm like notorious, and this is like, I don't know if anyone is old enough to like remember doing the Franklin Covey system of like organization. And it's like sticky notes are like your like not something that you should do, but I like have like all these like little reminders like all over my desk. So sometimes I'll use my worry time to like organize like all of these like thoughts that I've had throughout the day. But it really is just such a good tool, because you're not dismissing yourself. You're just saying, I'm not going to worry about this right now. I'm going to worry about this during worry time. Whether that be you give yourself 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or 30 minutes to 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 worry.
Yep. Love it.
All right. So this is definitely one of my favorite tools, and I use it all the time. And I know Karen, you do as well. And that's mindful movement. And I know Kathleen like loved doing this as well. Sorry, I don't mean to keep picking on you. But it is, can be anything from deciding that you're going to go for a color walk. And, you're going to go out in nature and you're going to identify, I want to see everything that is orange. And, you walk around your neighborhood, or you walk around, in the woods, or wherever it is that you go for your walk. And you're going to be amazed at how much that color is going to come, is going to be shown. You're going to be like, I didn't know that mailbox was, I don't actually know if many mailboxes are orange, but you might see an orange car, or orange house, or orange flowers, or leaves. Another, thing could be like doing, yoga, and just being like really, really present in your, maybe in a sun salutation. So for 15 minutes, just really like planting your feet on your yoga mat and just like giving yourself to this, like your sun salutation. But just like being in your body and moving and trying to focus on just the sensations that you're feeling, and what you're seeing is really just so, so beautiful. Tool number 9, trust and acceptance. I think this is a really like tough one for people to a pill to people swallow. And you know, it's really trusting that the universe has your back and trusting that there is a reason why this is happening. You know, and it's not happening to you, it's happening for you because there are other things that are awaiting for you on the other side, you know, and accepting the fact that you are, you know, where you are, and that, you know, I read somewhere or someone recently said to me, you know, acceptance is the answer to all my problems. Because when we're in acceptance, we're in flow, and we're in a very different state of mind than when we are, you know, on the opposite of it, which is resistance, when everything feels so rigid and tight, and it's not going in the direction that, you know, you want it to be. And, you know, when we accept that, you know, this is where we are, you get to make the choice of how am I and what am I going to do different? And how am I going to be curious and ask questions to be able to, you know, create something different for myself? And truly trusting that the universe is conspiring for you and not against you. And you know, I happen to be a woman of faith, and I trust that, you know, my higher power is has a plan for me. And even though today may not have gone the way that I wanted it to with my friend and
I was just going to say that we
and
had to do a lot
colleague,
of that.
but you know, like you know, we accepted that this is life on life's terms, and you know, we did the best that we could. So
And I thought I sounded so great, and the look on your face was enough to tell me, okay, never mind. I
well,
guess you're
I
doing
could
it.
just tell that if you were to talk too long, that you would lose your voice again, and then it
Right.
would be
So
yeah,
there was a lot of trust and acceptance, and thank you, Mandy, again for taking this on tonight.
of
Our
course.
last one. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, meet your badass self. So, you know, we one of the things that you know, we look at the in our the Clarity Catalyst class is kind of like all these like sub personas that we have, right? And typically our sub personas are not don't always have our best interests at heart. But you know, like why not create a sub persona that is, you know, your future self, right? Or this like part of, or this sub persona that when you feel like you can't do it, you turn to this part of you and you lean into it. So our mentor who we were talking about at the start of the course, her she's a little bit of a chicken, and her son is a total like adrenaline junkie, and he wanted her to, was it like jump out of a plane or something, or like drive a race car? I don't know. But she created this, it was both of them. Okay. So she created this sub persona called Debbie DeLorean. And Debbie DeLorean could do anything, and she could jump out of planes, and she could drive cars really fast, and she just would embody this character, if you will, and she was able uh, to do these things with her son, which she, you know, she told him that she would never do it again, but she was able to have that memory. And I know sometimes for myself when I feel like a little like intimidated, you know, like I remember, you know, trying to like when I first was going to like my son's games by myself, and knowing that and this was before I had remarried, but knowing that my ex was going to be there with his new wife and their kids, and like I like created, you know, I just kind of like gave myself a pep talk and was able to like, you know, step into this like persona of like confidence, and you know, it really helped me get to, and then like I kind of like just started to like become that, right? When I would go to events by myself, and I don't know. I think that it's helpful. So just kind of like a really quick recap of our 10 tools here. We talked about getting curious and asking powerful questions, anchoring with the 5 senses check-in, meditation and trying to just slow down your thoughts and be present, body awareness, learning to locate where the fear is in your body, journaling using powerful prompts to get answers, being of service, help someone in need. What persona were you when you arrived alone? I was marvelous Mandy. Set a time of day designed for worry time. We talked about mindful movement and a color walk, trust and acceptance, know the universe is conspiring in my favor, and create a character that you can embody. Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. So those are our 10 tools based on the 5 things that we kind of started with in terms of like, the clarity and the body awareness and not body awareness, but physical regulation. And we can recap all of these at the end. And as you know, we did a recording, so we'll share the recording with you.
Yeah.
And thank you. And we would love to welcome you. We are doing another class next week, and I am sure my pal is going to have her voice, so you will not just be hearing me.
Yes.
It's going to be reinventing your life after divorce, and it's kind of like a continuation of this, and it's just to give you another sample of what the 8-week course is like. And yeah, Kathleen, can I put you on the spot as a graduate? And we had no idea. I didn't know she was going to be here. This was not like prearranged. Just the good universe. So you did our last
amazing
class,
What's
right?
that?
You did the last
Yeah.
class, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing. It really was. And that's why when I got the email today that you were doing this one, I literally just signed up a little bit ago because I have to go through something with my lawyer tomorrow. And it is the universe transpiring to help you. This came through. I got the email from my lawyer an hour before. I was like, I could use a little calming tonight as I'm preparing these paperwork for her. But it was great to meet people who were in the same place as you. And the tools that you gave me, I took such great notes. I still, even though I do my own mindfulness and things, yours were so pointed at what I needed in that moment. Helping to look like the persona. I did the same thing. I had to get my car's oil changed for the first time by myself ever in 30 years. I had to get it inspected. It had a problem. I had to take it in for service. I had no idea what to do. So I just faked it. Yeah. And those tools really, they still are coming in very handy. So
Oh, I love
it's an
hearing that.
amazing course. It really is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
The community is what we knew
Yes.
that was going to happen, but it really happened where you guys were all able to share and
Yeah.
get to know one another, and you kind of got
Mm-hmm.
common bond of going through something that is so hard, going through divorce.
Yes. And you don't have to explain everything to people because they get it. They're in the
Right.
same boat you're in, or not the same situations. We all had different situations, but they all felt that same, I get where you're coming from. And you both got that too. And that was really powerful.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Absolutely.
you.
And it was good to see both of you.
It was good to see you too. So glad
Yeah,
that you
good
came,
seeing you.
and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
I know
Yeah.
your attorney well. She's awesome.
Yes. And that's how I found my attorney. Yes.